for this all my life.
Hi everyone, welcome to Newcastle Fans TV. Hello everybody in the live stream. We are live just on YouTube today. Tomorrow we'll be live on 5 other platforms, as well as 102.5 with our radio show, The Black and White Show, tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. So England have just won, I wouldn't say comprehensively 4-0, but a much better second half. We'll talk about the game in just a second as well. I'll be interacting with you as I keep getting this live chat the wrong way. It's always that way over on this side as well. Let's get in with it. I'm going to be honest, I don't know much about Bulgaria's team, I'll be honest with you. There's only one that I do know, which is Popov, who had a spell at Fulham. Apart from that, I don't know massively amounts with them. I know they've got a couple of Brazilian-born players such as Marcelinho and Wanderson. I would recommend you go and have a look after this video at Wanderson's celebration. Just type it into Google, you'll see it come up, watch the video. He runs off, thinks he's scored, kisses his girlfriend, and then the referee disallows a wrong goal. Have a look at that. But apart from that, I don't know many of the Bulgarians. You know, you think about Bulgaria and you think of, like, over the years, you think about the Petrovs, Stilian and Martin. You think about Todorov, you think about Berbatov, you think about even going back to Stoichkov as well. So, yeah, overall, I didn't know much about them as well. Let's have a look at England's lineup as well. Well, they've got the graphic down as a 4-3-3. It was more of a Kane up top on his own, really, and Rashford and Sterling were very wide in particular, starting to come in when the ball was on the opposite end of the field. So, for example, Sterling's goal, he come inwards. He does this a lot for Manchester City. And the midfield of Henderson, Rice and Barkley. So Declan Rice is now starting. You never know, he could push eventually. You never know. Jordan Henderson out that side. I know he started today. Kieran Trippier was the right back. Michael Keane, Maguire, Rose, Pickford in goal. Of course, England play again on Tuesday. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's have a look at what he's saying in the live chat. And Nick says, thoughts on Declan Rice? Well, funny you mention that, Nick, because one of the West Ham fan channels asked me to give my opinion on Declan Rice over the international break, and obviously we compared it to Sean Longstaff when they faced off each other, and we know Declan Rice won that. I think he's got a bright future. I know he's had to carry on with the Irish, but let's be honest, he's English through and through. I think he's only probably being advised to play for Ireland in those three friendlies because he's going to get into national football, and then he's probably realised how good he is and thought, you know what, I should play for England. And I think the future is bright from not so keen on him at centre back, but I do like him in that defensive midfield role, so you can only grow and grow. So going into the game, I'll come back to the live chat as well to get some more comments in. Going into the game itself then, I thought the first half was pretty scrappy. There wasn't much quality. I know Bulgaria threatened a couple of times on the counter, but their finishing wasn't very great. Let's be honest, they're down in the nation's rankings for a reason. The goal, it's Bulgaria's own fault. It's not really a quality move by England. The goalkeeper, well, they play it out short and they're having a little passy around inside their own box, and the goalkeeper passes to Raheem Sterling on the right hand side of that box. And then Raheem Sterling just looking for a bit of movement from Harry Kane. And of course, Harry Kane moves. His position comes off a defender. It's a great little sidestep to get a free shot and goal. England go up 1-0. On the face of it, in terms of ball possession, yeah, England would deserve it. But overall, I thought it was pretty... Because Bulgaria was sitting a lot of 8 or 9 men behind the ball, but England weren't actually threatening the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper, I can't remember having a save to make in that first half. That's how poor England were at breaking that down. So I wouldn't say it's even, but I would probably say England probably shaded at 60-40 going into that half time. And then you're thinking, okay, so you're 1-0 up already. Can England go and progress in that second half? So the referee blew for half-time scoreline. To be honest with you, with the crowd, it was over 82,000, but there's always something wrong with atmospheres at Wembley. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a lot of tourists, people who don't go to football games. It's an ideal location, just north of London. So, is it North London or is it West London? I can't remember which way about. Anyway, someone will correct me. However, with that, I think the game being switched at Southampton on Tuesday, I think they'll find a better atmosphere. But overall, the crowd were fairly quiet going into half-time, 1-0 up. I'm sure Wembley's North London. Just correct me if I'm wrong. So England go 1-0 up at half-time. Let's have a look at what he's saying. Nick's replied to that Declan Rice comment. Nick has said, I hope West Ham can keep him in, and I'm a West Ham fan. Says Nick. I think you will. I think you've got him all right. I think if he goes through that progression, then you might say one of the Champions League teams come in from. But at the moment, I think he's doing all right. You'd probably say at his rate of progression, you'd probably be at West Ham for a couple of years at least. And hopefully he can keep him longer for you guys as well. Right, going on to the second half then, right. So, Bulgaria actually threatened England very quick. I remember Pickford having to make two saves in the first few minutes, and England looked very, very lethargic coming out the second half, and you're thinking, this game's not over yet. But Rashford, from literally a minute or two after Pickford had saved it, goes at the other end. He does a Cruyff turn to try and turn it around, and then he's brought down, and it's a blatant penalty. It is. I think Rashford's probably waiting for the contact to come as well a little bit, but the contact does come, trips him up. Harry Kane steps up, and he'll always back Harry Kane from the penalty spot, won't you? He's got a fantastic record. He blasts it with his side foot. Very much like Shearer did. I know he's been compared to Alan Shearer, but Shearer uses laces more, but Harry Kane, the amount of power that he puts on his penalties and accuracy is really good. So England went 2-0 up, and as soon as it went 2-0 up, it was practically dead, the game. Bulgaria didn't really threaten. I know we went on to score a couple, which I'll mention as well. Comments coming from Fraser, who says, "What's the atmosphere like at St James's Park?" At the minute, Fraser, it's very, how can I describe it? It's sometimes quiet, it's sometimes loud. I guess it's dependent on the mood off the field. The rugby, England played in the rugby, which a bit of a joke that the rugby's attendance has beaten the football this season, but that's how, in a bad situation where Newcastle fans feel at the minute. It's not great, the atmosphere. It's not full. That's because of their field problems. But anyways, I don't want to really talk about that because it'll get us upset. 3-0 came pretty soon after. Harry Kane was on that left flank. He picked the ball up. He's looking for some movement. Touch upon it a little bit earlier on in this stream. Raheem Sterling, it's that movement when the ball's on the opposite side of the flank. He's now busting a gut, and I think this is something that Miguel Almiron needs to pick up in Newcastle, is when someone has the ball out wide, get in that box, burst a gut, get in there. Raheem Sterling does it over and over for Manchester City. To tap in for him, Harry Kane squares it across the box, 3-0 over, and it's a case of a question then of how many do England want to go and get? Do you want to go and get 4, 5, 6? Only one more came, and again it was another penalty, a blatant penalty. Harry Kane steps up for his hat-trick. We're already seeing several substitutions. We can see Jadon Sancho, we can see Mason Mount as well, who's still just 19 as well, coming off the bench as well, and the future's bright for England. Harry Kane puts that away. You're talking 4-0. It's an easy afternoon's work, in particular second half. I think once England come out that second half a little bit lethargic, after that point it was all England, and it's Bulgaria's tightness were kicking in. England started to stretch the Bulgarian defence, and it turned out to be a pretty easy evening, well, afternoon, whatever you want to call it. 5 o'clock kickoff. England go 4-0 up. The scoreline looks comprehensive, but at times during the game it wasn't. Probably the last 35 minutes, England were sensational and destroyed Bulgaria. Overall, Harry Kane's going to pick up the plaudits. He's got the match ball. I thought Rashford, he was desperate to score because he would have seen Kane and Sterling score. And I've seen Rashford this week have quotes about other people scoring and he's not. And he gets a little bit upset and he wants to try and outdo people. The future is bright with the likes of Sancho, with the likes of Declan Rice. We talked about him in that stream. You've got Mason Mount as well, so Gareth Southgate is picking a lot of youth as well. Who knows how England are going to progress in the tournament next year, which is, well, it's literally across the whole of Europe, isn't it? I know England, when I say England, have 2 semi-final games and the final next year, and they're all dotted across loads of countries as well. Let's just quickly take a look at that league table. England now 3 wins from 3. Look how many goals they've scored. Double the amount of Kosovo, who are a fairly new nation. 3 wins from 3, sitting on 9 points. England next face Kosovo at Southampton on Tuesday. I know Kosovo are unbeaten. They're a fairly new nation because of obviously all the political side of things over the years, and they've got FIFA ranking. It was a few years back now, 2 or 3 years back, to be an official member. You would expect England to win that game. I'd be very surprised if England don't win that. It'll be a bit of a shock, because you expect England now will probably go the whole 10 games unbeaten, probably winning 8 or 9 of them. I'd be very surprised if England drop many points in this group. A lot of Balkan countries as well in here as well. But overall, second place playoff, if I put my neck on the line, I would say it'll be Czech Republic if I say who gets the playoff spot. But I think the Czech Republic will. I think it's a playoffs. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong on that as well. But overall, pretty straightforward for England in particular, as mentioned already. Quick stream for you. What's coming up on the channel tomorrow, of course, we've got the radio show, so tune into that. Tonight we've got another Newcastle video coming out as well, talking about the season today, pre-season and the first 4 games. We are getting a couple of interviews with the women's side as well tomorrow, so we'll be over there. And then obviously next week, once we hit the 20k, which will be great. We've got a couple of videos coming out, a funny one and a little documentary, and then we'll do the build up towards Liverpool for the rest of the week as well. But that has been it. Hope you like the shorter stream. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Have a good weekend. Ta-ra. Bye-bye.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading